Hi friends, good morning. This is Sreekanth here. We'll quickly discuss about what's happening with Bitcoin for the past couple of weeks and a lot of the traumatic events that we were quite anticipating but didn't quite happen as we predicted. Mostly because most people came to a consensus about what should be happening with Bitcoin. Mainly the miners were expected to be not in support of the whole events. However, it was quite the opposite. Miners came in support of the whole Bitcoin support protocols, including the BIP 148 or BIP 91 or whatever that we have been quite discussing. However, the new entrant into the whole ecosystem is the Bitcoin Cash, pushed forward by the Bitcoin ABC community, Amaury Sachet. An expected fork is about to happen tomorrow, August 1st, and this kind of a fork will actually yield to an alternative coin. Normally we call it as altcoins. However, quite to understand that people are not yet ready to accommodate such a coin into the ecosystem. Most people are worried about Bitcoin Cash, mainly because the entire backtrack of whatever hard fork and soft fork that was expected, that is going into people's minds. However, just to understand that Bitcoin Cash is not a threat to the Bitcoin ecosystem, rather than it should be welcomed to some extent, because it could be a future roadmap for what Bitcoin Core can actually go into. Just to understand, there are a lot of proposals in front of us, including the BIP 91 SEC signal which has activated last week, the BIP 148 user activated soft fork, the SegWit 2x proposal that was part of the New York agreement, and right now the Bitcoin Cash proposal that was put forth by the Bitcoin ABC community. And just to have a comparative study about all these kind of proposals, we have to understand that there are two kinds of forks mainly. There is a soft fork and a hard fork. Most of you guys might be quite aware that a soft fork is actually backward compatible and a hard fork is not backward compatible. The main proposal of all was the Bitcoin BIP 148 user activated soft fork proposal, because it was quite deviating from what was being the standard when it came to forks in Bitcoin community. Earlier it was always the hashing power or the miners who took charge of the forks, the decision about it and the execution about it. However, BIP 148 was quite different. The BIP 141 protocol for the SegWit implementation, people have been asking for it for quite some time, and miners were quite apprehensive about implementing it. However, BIP 148 brought in a new kind of a proposal wherein users could trigger an activation of a soft fork. It's like the consumers and the end users, the nodes deciding when to actually implement the proposal rather than the hashing power. So in this case scenario, the expected turmoil was supposed to happen on August 1st, and this was in case the SegWit did not go through before the expected timeline. The SegWit lock-in period did not happen to go through before the expected timeline. However, a couple of days back, the BIP 91 SEC signal protocol that quite triggered the SegWit activation, and as part of that, BIP 148 is no longer coming into play because the purpose of BIP 148 has been taken care of. However, there was also another participant into the system called the SegWit 2x as part of the New York agreement. The SegWit 2x is not just the SegWit activation protocol, rather it would also propose to increase the block size from the current 1 MB size to 2 MB in another 3 months to 6 months time window. However, this has also been taken care of because the miner support is not currently for the SegWit 2x rather than for the BIP 91 protocol. So in both scenarios, we'll just have to have a comparative study about what is the percentage of activation and how things go forward. So just to understand, SegWit 2x proposal locks in on a particular date, and so as BIP 148 protocol. However, BIP 91 SEC signal is already considered active, and signaling of bit 4 is the criteria, and more than 80% of the nodes and the blocks involved, they are already signaling bit 4 on their header inclusions. So just to understand, all these kind of proposals, they reject non-bit 1 blocks, which is the non-SegWit blocks, and this is quite good for the industry and good for the Bitcoin ecosystem as a whole, because SegWit as such takes care of a lot of problems that we have been going through in the last couple of months and years, mainly the malleability problem, which was causing a lot of frustration for people who have been implementing quicker solutions like the Lightning Network. And even for hardware wallets, the support without SegWit was quite limited because the input chain is not hashed and validation would be quite tedious. So coming back to Bitcoin Cash, the Bitcoin ABC community seems to be not happy with the current BIP91 seg signal which is actually activated. Rather, they are quite interested still to go ahead with the larger size of a block size, an increase from 1 MB to 8 MB as proposed. So this is quite opposite from what other proponents were putting forth. And in this scenario, most exchanges are actually stating their side of the statement. Most major exchanges currently agreeing to support Bitcoin Cash, and some of the exchanges are not quite ready to support Bitcoin Cash as well. So what is good for a user finally is, as such, as earlier when we were anticipating other proposals to go through and quite worried about what would happen to our currency, it still is good to keep your money in your own wallets because finally exchanges or whichever consumer entity, they'll all chase the longer chain. However, as a user, you have the right to retain both your coins, and to ensure that you are retaining both your coins, you'll have to always withdraw your funds to your own personal offline wallets. You could use any mobile wallets or even a paper wallet, but finally it's good to actually withdraw it back to your own wallets and wait and watch what's happening to the entire setup. The Bitcoin Cash, the support of Bitcoin Cash as a alternative coin or an alternative currency, it's quite limited right now. However, the active community which is backing it, it's quite large, and the mining power is also quite decent right now. That's why Bitcoin Cash is already trading in the futures market in most global exchanges, and it's actually right now somewhere around 1/4 to 1/3 the actual price of a normal Bitcoin, a single Bitcoin unit. So it's quite welcoming to see that an alternative coin is trading in a futures market at high prices, and Bitcoin core community members are also quite looking forward to absorbing some of the good ideas that could be putting forth by the Bitcoin ABC community, which are supporting the Bitcoin Cash as a currency. So when it comes to Indian exchanges, the Indian exchanges were not really ready for the Bitcoin alternative currency or the hard fork that could have come forth as part of either SegWit 2x or a BIP148 user activated soft fork. Most Indian exchanges, to name a few, ZPay and CoinSecure and even Unocoin, they have put forth notices saying that they are not going to immediately support Bitcoin Cash. However, they might consider it in the future and they will stand with what is best for their users. It has to be noted that generally Indian exchanges are considered not quite ready to adopt alternative currencies as it comes, and also to understand that not much of exchanges support Ethereum or any of the alternative currencies that are being supported by global exchanges like Bitfinex or Poloniex. So to run final into the note, Bitcoin Cash is actually making quite some waves in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and people are quite enthralled to some extent and worried to some extent about what's going to happen. It's always good, as I have mentioned, to withdraw your currency to your own personal wallets and wait and watch what's going to happen. All things will be fine in another week to come, and we can quite expect that Bitcoin Cash is here to stay. Thank you.